2,000 years ago, someone carved this figure and buried it in a Danish bog. Anyone who has studied yoga goes quiet the first time they see it. I did. I couldn't make it fit anything I knew. The Danish figure has a twin in India, twice as old. It sits on a small seal of stone about 4,000 years old, and it happens to be perhaps the most important object in the entire history of yoga, because it shows the oldest known image of a yoga asana anywhere on earth. The seal is small, about the size of a postage stamp. It was carved around 4,000 years ago in Mohenjo-daro, a city in Indus Valley. On the seal sits a figure, legs folded, heels pressed together at the perineum. This is Mula Bandhasana. It's the root lock, one of the most technical postures in all of yoga, and it's the oldest image of a yoga asana anywhere on earth. So why does the greatest yoga relic have a twin in an Iron Age bog in Northern Europe? There are many twists in this story. Let's begin with the seal itself. Most yoga practitioners assume yoga is ancient, but over the last few decades, the scholars who study this have really started to make cracks in that story. The famous yoga gurus of the 20th century had basically invented much of what they taught. And what people move through in yoga studio today is rarely even 100 years old practice. Then there's this seal, 4,000 years old, a figure in Mula Bandhasana. And we have good reasons to think that it's an ancient form of the god we know today as Shiva. We still can't read the Indus script, so we cannot ask its makers what it means. But the archaeologists who first published it, John Marshall, gave the figure its name, Pashupati, Lord of the Animals. It's still one of the names of Shiva today, and it makes sense to think it's Lord of the Animals, as he is surrounded by wild animals on every side. So that's the Indian twin, now Denmark. The year is 1891. Two men are cutting peat in a bog in Jutland. Their spades hit metal and they pull up a heavy silver cauldron, hammered, gilded, broken into pieces. On one of its plates sits a figure with legs crossed, antlers on his head, animals all around him. Almost the same image as the Indian seal, made most likely 2,000 years later and half a world away. And we even have good reasons to think that we know what the Danish figure was called. We know it because of a single stone in Paris. In the 18th century, workers digging under Notre-Dame uncovered a carved pillar. As it came up out of the ground, they could see it was covered in the names of gods. Beside one antlered figure stood a single word. It's the only place in the world where this name survives. The name is Cernunnos, or I think maybe the ancient Celts said Cernunnos, the horned one. This is the same figure that India calls Shiva. The Celts knew him, the people of the Indus knew him. Indians themselves say Shiva has 108 names. The Lord of the Animals is one of them. So who is this Lord of Animals? The answer, in my humble opinion, is the single most important teaching in the old wisdom traditions. The Lord of Animals is the one who is looking out from behind your eyes, and also mine. This is the clearest way I know how to explain it. Think of your own dream tonight. It's perhaps full of people, animals, whole landscapes. They talk to you, they surprise you, they feel completely separate from you, and every one of them is you, as it's your dream. There's only one mind in a dream, and it belongs to the dreamer. What these traditions claim is that waking life works the same way, one consciousness, dreaming the whole thing. And Pashupati, the Lord of Animals, is the dreamer. You and I are figures in his dream. The same awareness is looking out from behind the eyes of every animal and every person. The deer, the tiger, the figure on the seal, you. This idea is older than any religion you could name. I won't go through all the examples now, But worship of this lord of animals, often depicted with horns, seems to appear in nearly all ancient sources. In some cultures, he is portrayed purely as an animal, in others as a horned human, and in recent centuries Pashupati is rarely depicted with horns at all. In a cave in southern France, there's a painted figure they call the Sorcerer, upright, antlered, half man, half animal, around 15,000 years old. I think we have good reason to believe that's the same figure, the same idea. As far back as we can see, I think this is the oldest knowledge our species has. And yoga is the part of this that has survived as a method, not just as a picture. Over the last 5,000 years, it became perhaps the best preserved set of tools we have for one purpose: making contact with the One, or the Sorcerer if you like. The Hermetics called him the One, and India calls him Shiva these days. I find it curious that Pashupati's seal happens to show Mula Bandhasana. That's the root lock in yoga, and it's part of many practices where you switch off the senses and return back to the source. For a moment, you become the One, the Pashupati. Mula Bandhasana can briefly collapse the personal mind. The separate self thins out, and there's only the One who was there the whole time. For those few seconds, you are the dreamer, you are the Pashupati, the same one hammered in the Danish silver and carved in the Indian stone and painted on the cave wall 15,000 years ago. If you want to learn these tools, step by step, join us at ancientscience.com. The link is below.